Hello and welcome to today's brief presentation. Today we're going to be looking at some of the learnings that our global peers share with us and what that means for us in the Australian and New Zealand pest control industry. And we'll also look at how Bayer supports the Australian and New Zealand pest control industry and markets. Starting off with our manufacturing. Bayer is very proud to still manufacture in Australia. We have our own manufacturing site based in Pinkenba in Brisbane, Queensland, or as some call it, Auckland West. We currently produce on average 10 million litres of finished product per year. And that includes different business divisions, including crop science, environmental science, and also our seeds business. Something we're very proud of is that around approximately 50% of the professional pest management range is made on site, and that's something that, as I said, we're very proud to do and to continue to do. We also employ over 50 full-time Queensland staff. There's also a few Kiwis amongst that staff, and we'll get to see later on in our presentation how we leverage the support of our global network, and more locally that we are one of 9 formulation facilities throughout the Asia Pacific region. Having a look at how Bayer caters to the New Zealand pest control market, we have an exclusive distribution agreement through Garrards, and that really gives us one focus. We have one distribution partner, and that makes sure that we are able to maximise our key activities through roadshows and other trade events. It also gives us some local knowledge and insight to the New Zealand market. And one key example of that is one specific product in particular, which is Responsa Beta. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware that Responsa Beta is not sold anywhere else. It is made at Pinkenba, at our facility, exclusively through Garrards, and especially for the New Zealand market. Throughout my travels throughout New Zealand, I understand that it's a very, very popular product, and it's one that we are quite happy to have and to help support the New Zealand pest control market by being able to make that especially for the New Zealand pest control market. Something else that we're very proud of is our product range, the extent of our product range that we make available to the New Zealand market. As an R&D manufacturer, there's not many products there that we do not make available for our New Zealand customers. Heading back over the ditch for just a second. Now, Bayer will continue to invest in Australian manufacturing, which in turn supports our New Zealand market. There's not many, if any, R&D companies that are currently manufacturing in Australia, and this is something that is important for us to continue to do so, especially in a time where there are many savings that can be made by taking manufacturing offshore throughout Asia. It's very important for Bayer to continue to support our local businesses. But also being globally diverse definitely helps us with our formulations, and that's what we're about to see. Leveraging our global network ensures us quality locally and control over our formulations, and it also gives us insights into our formulations, and it also gives us a jump on what's coming. Usually we follow, Australia and New Zealand follow everything that's happening from overseas, and leveraging our network helps us get the jump on any new restrictions that are coming. Now, this particular diagram is one that we looked at a few years ago, but we wanted to have another look at it because we didn't get a chance to talk about everything that we wanted to in that particular presentation. And we feel that it's a really good illustration of how, if we look down the bottom, active ingredient is only a very small part of the complete overall formulation. There are many other ingredients within that complete formulation which can enhance results or also give poor performance. And what we know is that the quality of all of these ingredients is directly related to the performance of your product of choice. So if the quality of any of those other ingredients is not up to scratch, then that could lead to a callback for your customer, or from your customer. It could also mean some sludge in the bottom of your tank or in your filter, and you've got to ask yourself those questions. What is that in the bottom of my tank or in my filter? What did I just spray out around this property? So very important to look at the overall picture. What we also know is that we can manipulate certain ingredients within our formulation to change the makeup or to alter a different desired result. For example, if we manipulated our carrier, we can do so in such a way to deliver a better residual control, for example. So again, a really good example of how the overall formulation makeup is extremely important, not just active ingredient. Also, what we discover and we leverage the knowledge from our global peers, and we see in Australia and we also see in New Zealand, is that regulatory environment is constantly changing, it's constantly evolving, and it's going to continue to do so. And if that does continue to do so, some ingredients may need to be replaced, and if that does happen, then also reformulation of certain products may be required. And we'd like to look at two key ingredients that we find in some formulations. One of those ingredients is NPE. Now, NPE is commonly found in detergents and shampoos, and it's commonly found throughout the majority of pesticides that you'll be using in your arsenal today. Upon talking to one of our lead chemists at our manufacturing facility in Pinkenba, if he had a clean sheet and he was writing out a new recipe for a new product or a new formulation, NPE would be one of those products or one of those ingredients on the top of his list. If we have a look on the left, we can see that it acts as an emulsifier or an adjuvant or a dispersing agent, depending on the product or the formulation. And what we also know is that it's not currently a restricted ingredient in either the ACVM or APVMA, because it's quite widely used currently at the moment throughout the industry. However, again, the learnings that we find from our global peers is that NPE is persistent in the aquatic environment, It's also found in fresh water, in salt water, and in groundwater. And it is being replaced, if not already, throughout all Bayer products globally. And that's not just pest control, that's every division that we act in. So that's one of those ingredients. The second ingredient is NMP. Now, NMP is commonly found in cosmetics, drugs, and herbicides, and it's commonly found in solvent-based pesticides. Okay, it is an organic solvent, and it acts as a dispersant or a surfactant, and it helps to disperse the active ingredient evenly. Similar to NPE, it is not currently a restricted ingredient, and it's quite commonly used throughout a lot of those solvent-based products. But again, our global peers tell us is that it's being replaced globally, if not already in all Bayer products. And that's following the responsible care principle. Now, you may ask what the responsible care principle is, and that's a very good question. The responsible care principle is the chemical industry's commitment to the continual improvement in all aspects of health, safety, and the environment. And it's led by the CIA, which is the Chemical Industries Association. And if you want to be a member, you need to adhere to all the principles and objectives. You cannot just pick and choose which ones you like, which ones are convenient for you. You need to adhere to all of the practices. And the whole aim of this is to earn the public's trust and to ensure that future generations have these important products available for them to use, and also to ensure our future generations have a safe environment to live and work and play in. The Bayer Group position on this is to minimise health, safety and environment and quality risks to people, environment and the company. It's also to address any product related issues and potential impacts at all stages of the life cycle along the product chain, so from manufacture all the way through to end user. And it's also to responsibly address impacts of past practices while striving to identify and avoid potential future adverse effects. So in other words, if there is a safer way of doing things while we can still maintain the efficacy of our products or the performance of our products, even if that comes to an initial cost to the business, we need to adopt and adhere to those practices. And that's really why we're removing NPE and NMP. It's a Bayer initiative, even though it is not a restriction or a regulatory requirement to do so today. And what that means is that when you select a Bayer product, you can be ensured that you're getting a product of the highest quality ingredients, that is the safest and most compliant formulation that you can buy. So, just to summarise, Bayer will continue to invest in Australian manufacturing, which will in turn help the New Zealand market. We also cater specifically to the New Zealand pest control industry with the largest R&D product range available. And being globally diverse gives Bayer the chance to have that insight to future changes and regulations that may be happening throughout the world. And again, what that means for you is that when you select a Bayer product, you can be assured that you're buying a product of the highest quality ingredients, which is the safest, most compliant formulation that you can buy. Just a couple of notes, if you haven't jumped on the Amplify website in a while, please have a look. There's over 25 free registered training programs for you, and it's always getting updated. And if you're not already following us on all the socials, please follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And thank you very much for your time. Stay safe, guys.